All right, we're excited to have Chiara Noja here today. Chiara is coming in from Dubai. She is actually a young phenom on the Ladies European Tour. She's 18 years old. Chiara was born in Germany, but was raised in England, played for the English national team, turned pro when she was 15 years old, had her first professional win when she was 16. Known for great distance. She can really hit the ball really hard, but she's had this nagging shoulder injury that's kind of sidelined her for the last 6 months. Chiara's main goal is to move to the LPGA, right? And to get there, one of the easiest ways is to go to qualifying school, go to Q school, right? And so because of this injury, we only have a few months left to really start ramping up and get ready for Q school in the fall. So she's at the point now where she can actually swing an iron, and we want to take a look to see, is the swing part of the problem? This is an important juncture if we're going to try and make LPGA this year to get her back healthy and swinging as fast as possible. If you like videos like this and more content from MyTPI, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. We'll keep you notified anytime a new video launches.
We're gonna hit 6 irons, so I need to build up to that. I'm gonna attempt a full swing.
So there are certain injuries that make me think of certain swing characteristics that tend to create these injuries, right? So if you say, hey, my knee hurts, there's certain things I'm gonna look for versus if you say my back hurts or my shoulder hurts.
Too bad.
What we're going to do first is we're just going to look at how you're creating force.
My right leg does basically everything.
My main thing is I just want to make sure you're not doing anything that could be making this worse. So let me walk you through kind of my scanning process here when players come in with injuries. Now, Chiara's complaining of shoulder and mid-back pain, right? So some of the things that I'm going to look for, things that can put excessive stress on the shoulder, right? So things that can put excessive stress on the shoulder. Upper body dominated swings, right? So if you got somebody who's just chopping at the ball, they're not using their lower body, you put a lot more stress on the upper body that can stress the shoulder. Things where you see excessive rotation of the club, excessive pronation, supination, a lot of club face opening, closing, that can put some weird stress on the rotator cuff. Any rapid deceleration of the club, you hit really heavy shots and the club decelerates really fast, that can put a lot of force into the shoulder and put a lot of jarring into the muscles that control the stability around the shoulder.
Double plate ready. Double plate ready.
Okay, let's take a look here. That is really good, Karen. You don't realize how good that is. Holy moly.
All right, we can go.
Impressive golf swing, very tall, very athletic. It's good to be 18 years old, right? So I can see why she can create a lot of power. She's got just that classic great golf swing, a lot of width, big turn. And I start looking at the numbers right away. I can see like her vertical force is 171% of body weight. I mean, average with the driver on the LPGA is 175, and this is with a 6 iron.
You know, I've been putting a lot of work in elsewhere, so.
Like when you're swinging right now, you feel like you're not holding back at all. You're swinging hard.
This is the rhythm I would hit.
Perfect, perfect.
I can always do more.
No, that's perfect.
That's see is control.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. That's really good. Okay, I definitely want to do 3D first. My first glance looks pretty good. I don't see any glaring, obvious, excessive side bends or bending forward, loss of postures. I see a great looking golf swing here. It looks like what I would see from a veteran top 10 player in the world on the LPGA. I'm doing this, like I said, for one specific reason, and that is just to make sure if I tell you to start practicing, that you're not doing something stupid. Because again, I don't know what caused the injury. If I asked you, what do you think caused the injury? What would you say?
I don't know. I've thought about it for the last 12 months.
But you don't remember anything that could have...
I think it was the stick and bad sleep.
What a lot of people don't realize is that you can get these little accumulative traumas, but the problem is not the trauma, is that your body's not healing, right? And one of the things that can impede healing is how you sleep.
I keep putting myself in these positions. Put a pillow between my knees, right?
Yep.
And then put a pillow under my shoulder.
Yep.
And then under my head.
If I break your arm, and instead of putting it in a cast, every night you hit your arm and broke it again, it'd still be broken in 4 weeks. When I first started talking to her, her sleeping position tonight, her arms were up and she was doing some weird things, I think, with her shoulder and her spine. And if you do that for 8 hours, that could be the whole problem.
Put a foam roller behind my back so I don't roll over. I wake up, I'm not in that position.
No, she was sleeping on the bed.
Like,
Yep,
I don't
yep.
know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something.
Well, that's why I told you to belt your arm down. If we can get that correct, a lot of times your body just heals itself. In looking at the ground reaction forces, now that I know that the lower body is actually working, that is one factor that goes into looking at shoulder. If the lower body wasn't working, well then that would make sense why the upper body would try and work twice as hard. But I look at her lower body and I'm like, it's working and it's working really well. So that's a good sign that the lower body is not absent in her golf swing. I'm hoping that she just had an injury that she brought to the golf course, and all we have to do is rehab that injury and she's back in action, right? And that it's not a swing creating injury. Like there are alarming things that players do that can damage their shoulder and their back. And I'm looking to see if you're doing any of those. Because if I say, hey, let's go, let's get back to swinging, did your swing create this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, so I don't want to put you back in the fire. Now, one of the things I've learned over the years here, just because it looks pretty doesn't mean it's efficient. And when I say efficient is how they transfer power, how they create power, and how they transfer it through your body. The only way to see that is with 3D motion capture. We got a young player here, 18 years old, swing looks beautiful, looks like it's got a lot of power. So we're gonna go in the lab now, we're gonna get some 3D and some force data just to make sure what I'm seeing is efficient. Well, it's exciting that you're swinging, right? That's exciting, right?
And to be honest with you, it didn't feel worse after I swung.
It's awesome.
Felt
It's awesome.
kind of the same.
Don't worry, keep doing whatever you're doing swing-wise. We're changing the sleep, we're getting a little different care, and you're good to go. That's what I'm hoping it's that easy.
What?
You play any other sports?
I did everything.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's the key. I can see already.
I think my blood circulation has been cut off.
Too tight?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Hold
Thank
on a
you.
second.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Hate to be.
So I can take your blood pressure at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
That's important.
I just don't know if that would help with the
Wait a second.
analysis.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one that finds myself funny.
No, I think you're funny.
I just-
I'm laughing inside. I'm laughing inside. Yeah, inside. How was that one?
Better, I think.
Double plate ready.
That was perfect.
I'm pretending to understand what the squiggly lines mean. The red line's the prettiest, so that's what I'm looking at.
You want the good news or the bad news?
I only want good news.
Good, because I don't have any bad news. Okay, so now the picture is becoming very clear. The ground reaction forces on the force plate look like the lower body's active, very active and early, which I love. I now look at the 3D, look at her kinematic sequence, and the sequence is perfect. If I had to guess right now, you hurt yourself sleeping or doing something and then the sleep perpetuated all this? Because this is very efficient. I mean, the force, we can always make these better, so don't get me wrong. And I know you're not back to 100% yet, but the things that piss off shoulders, lower backs, you're not doing any of them. So I really think she hurt her shoulder, and then what she did is she compounded the problem by not letting it recover at night. Your back's a little arched in the backswing a little bit. Has anyone ever said that to you?
Not in the backswing, but I have been told that in setup I get a little.
You have about 33 degrees, and most players are around 20. But you get rid of it at impact, which is great. It goes away. You're not early extending, you're not moving towards the ball, which creates all kinds of problems. I just know the numbers are only going to get higher as she starts to practice more. So the good news here is I'm really leaning towards the swing was not the problem. I don't want to make something up. You know what I mean? So your hip to shoulder separation is 31 degrees at the top of the backswing. On average, most players it's 45. So they have a lot more torque than you do. Now what you do though is you create a lot of that twist on the downswing. So you go from 31 to almost 39. So you increase the stretch during the downswing, which is a more aggressive way to do it, but it's not excessive. Most players separate their upper body from the lower body about 45 degrees. So that means the pelvis turns 45 degrees in the backswing, but the shoulders turn 90 degrees. Chiara's only 31 degrees, so she actually has less than most people. So I don't see that as a factor of creating torque. Now, a lot of players, because their lower body starts the downswing, they increase that torque on the downswing, and she is just like most players does that, and she increases it by about 8 degrees on the downswing. But again, I think it's below any of the ranges that would make me nervous of creating stress to the body. I almost feel like this is an area where we could actually make more range for more speed in the future, but right, I think we got enough information here for me to say, let's start practicing. Okay, because there was no like, oh my God, I can't let you do this, we gotta fix this first type of thing. I don't see that, which is great. Because I was worried we were gonna see that. I actually think we put the right medical team around you, change your sleeping, you're back. pretty quick, actually. One of Chiara's main goals here is to move from the Ladies European Tour to the LPGA, right? And to get there, one of the easiest ways is to go to qualifying school, go to Q school, right? Because of this injury, she's at that point now where we only have a few months left to really start ramping up and get ready for Q school in the fall. So really, this is an important juncture now if we're going to try and make LPGA this year to get her back healthy and swinging as fast as possible. Normally, what we see, players get to the top of the backswing. Right before the top of the backswing, usually what we see is we see a lateral force first. You start pushing side to side first. This is what most players do. So you'll see a lateral. Then what they start to do is to shallow the club, they rock. If you twist first, sometimes the club gets steep. So they usually rock, then they start to twist, and then they jump, and then that's what accelerates the club, right? So the first thing we look at is that's your normal, what we call kinetic sequence. Do you go lateral, rock, twist, jump, and then how much do you do? Your lateral is definitely first. Okay, and it goes right before the top of the backswing, which is perfect, which I love. You can see the first yellow dot is the top one. That's lateral. You go lateral first. Now on this swing right here, the second thing you did was you twisted. So you went lateral, twist, then you did rock, and then you did jump. So that kinetic sequence there was a little out that you twisted before you rocked. The twisting, depends on how much you twist, would make the club go steep, and then you'd try to shallow by rock. You twisted a little early, but you didn't do a lot. It was like a little. There was just like a little, like a baby twist there. So it really didn't get you in trouble, and your rock was actually more than your twist, and it brought the club on plane. So I look at that, and we looked at 4 of your force plates. 3 of them, rock was before twist. This was the only one where twist was before rock. So I'm like, I'm not worried about it. I think it's okay. Your rock brought it back to where I need it. And then what's really important on your forces is your last one right here, vertical. You're pushing at 171% of your body weight. Average on LPGA is 168. You're 171. So you're actually, without like any practice, anything, you've already created probably more vertical force than most of our LPGA, which is why when you said I think I was the longest one, I believe you, because that's really, really good. And you're doing this around shaft vertical. Like I want you to do this early. If it's late, then there's not enough time to get to the club. So I look at that and I go, okay, I think you know how to create force. Now I go, can you transfer it through your body, right? So you create these forces. Now what you should do is this. Your lower body should start to rotate first. The ground forces make your lower body rotate. Then you should transfer to your trunk. Then you should transfer to your arms and then transfer to the club in that sequence, right? The red is your lower body. The green's your trunk, the blue's your arm, and the yellow, the brown's the club. So notice your lower body, when it goes up, that's how fast it's twisting. It rotates fast, but the trunk rotates faster. The trunk is fast, but the arm's faster. The arm's fast, but the club's the fastest, so you're gating energy.
It kind of has to be, right?
It doesn't have to be. I've seen players that do really bad.
That wouldn't probably end that well.
You wouldn't be one of the longest hitters. So I look at that and I go, okay, check one is she's taking energy from here to here to here, and it's gaining as it goes through. The next thing we look at too is we say, okay, so what's the sequence? Now, does your lower body go first, then your trunk goes second? And you can notice here the red from left to right peaks first. Then the green peaks second. Then the blue peaks third. That means
so that kind of follows that kind of sequence.
That's your kinematic sequence. That's your kinetic sequence. The kinetic sequence is the sequence of how you create the forces. The kinematics is how you transfer it through your body. That's perfect. I'm like, when you start over here, it's like, you know how to crack the whip, right? So I look at that and I'm like, if that was off and you were like all upper body, I'd be like, well, no wonder your shoulder hurts. You're just using your upper body. You're not using your left. You're not.
So technically speaking, me practicing should not be making things worse.
Whatever you guys are doing is working, right? You're in the right place. Okay, so that's number one. A lot of times I'm like, wait, what are you guys doing? Because this is horrible. Like this is great, right? So Cameron's gonna like this. Like that's great. Then the second thing I'm telling you is that as long as your body's healthy, you should be able to transfer through your body. But if you're pissing off your shoulder at night, I don't care what you do, it's going to aggravate when you swing, right? So I think if we can get the injury away, that's not going to create more injury. That's the most. I don't know how to make that more efficient.
Cool. So
That's
I'm doing something right.
It looks really efficient, right? From how she creates the force to how she transfers it through her body. So I'm really not fearful about her swinging right now. If she feels comfortable, of course, we'll slowly progress all the way up to a driver. But I think I'm ready to give her the green light, and we'll see how it goes. And I think, like I said, I think we get the right medical team around you, treating you. You start swinging. This stuff's in the past. Now, just remember, you're a professional athlete. How often should you be getting treated, even if you were healthy?
Well, once a week was what I was doing. I never did more.
If our goal is to get back to Q School, get back to playing as fast as possible, I need to treat you like a tour player, and tour players get treated a lot more than once a week typically. I'm just telling you, that's not what the best in the world do.
Really?
Yep.
How often should I be doing?
Most of the best players in the world get treated before and after each of their rounds. That's why they have people that travel with them,
Yeah.
right? Most players have manual therapists, whether it's a chiropractor, physical therapist, osteopath, who follows them and treats them sometimes even before they play and after they play. Most of our players are getting treatments 3 to 5 times a week. Whoever feels like they didn't play the day before has an advantage. That should be your whole goal, is to make it feel like you didn't play the day before. And I wish I can get you guys when you're young, 18, like start doing this now, because name another sport that you can make millions into your 60s. That's a big advantage if you feel fresh. Your recovery team, your medical team is really important. I really feel like putting the right team around her, getting some good treatment is going to be a key to her success.
I've never been here before. It's my first time in California, and I've only ever been to the Europe bases, so this is really cool for me. Obviously, I've seen it a lot on social media, and this has got like golfing heaven for anybody. It's a beautiful facility. Was able to do some putting, chipping, kind of last few days and next few days, and then being able to get geared up and get some really good insight was really amazing. I've been dealing with a shoulder injury for a while now, and I was in contact with Greg about obviously trying to get good treatment out in the area and trying to get healthy again, but one of the big questions was, am I ready to get back to swinging, and is my golf swing making things worse? Luckily it's not, so I'm good to sort of pull the trigger and get back to it. I was hoping that it would be good news and that I would be able to go back to practice. Obviously you never want to hear, hey, you're doing this thing terribly in your golf swing, and you can't play right now because you're doing it wrong, but obviously hearing good news is great. I'm happy with what was said, so I'm good. Oh yeah, I'm so excited. Obviously a long way to go. I've got so much rehab left to do, but knowing that what I'm doing in the golf swing is not making things worse is really important.
So it was a pleasure working with Chiara today. Really one of the best young female phenoms I've seen in golf in a while, so really impressive watching her swing. I think the key takeaways here, it's really important when you're coming back from an injury to make sure that your swing is not part of the problem, because you can spend all this time doing rehab, feeling great, and then 2 swings later, you feel like you're right back to where you started. Chiara had this nagging shoulder/spine injury, so she did the right thing. Instead of guessing, she came in, she got assessed. We figured out that her swing really wasn't the perpetuating cause of this injury. We think it's more related to maybe not getting enough treatment and the way she sleeps, not getting the recovery that we're looking for. But at least now we feel comfortable that she's on the path to recovery and she can get back to swinging as fast as possible. What you never want a player to have is doubt, right? If they're doubting like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing, is this going to come back? There's the fear component there. So by going through this rigorous testing, I think number one, it gives us confidence, but it gives the player confidence that they've done everything they need possible and they can get back to just swinging freely, because that's the goal here.